Welcome back to the Shipyard. Today, we're looking at the USS Phoenix. This is a Nebula class. Benjamin Maxwell in command. At least, well, to start. Before that whole treason thing. Never mind. 26 points, 4144. Hopefully we see a discount on that at some point, or some kind of a boost to 4 primary weapon attack ships. We'll see. Standard Fed action bar, the good kind. 2 crew, 2 weapon, 1 tech. Not much to complain about. 2 weapons, a little much. 2 tech would be nice, or a 3rd crew slot. Is what it is. Named ability, actually kind of good in my book. Before you move, you may change your maneuver to another maneuver on your maneuver dial with the same speed. And if it was just that, it would be a great ability. But then the hammer drops. If you do so, place an aux power token beside your ship. Yeah, it could have been good. Could have been so good. Yeah, the Nebula class dial is, well, meh. It's not a bad dial, but coupled with a 90 only forward firing arc, that's what hurts it a lot. Yeah. Plus, it's a Nebula. It moves fast. It should have a 5 straight. But I digress. The generic loses a shield, loses a crew slot, so this one has double weapons. And yeah, it's just not worth it. Not even at 24 points. You're just not going to play it. It's unfortunate, because it is viable. Like, I love the Nebula class as a ship design. But in the game, in Star Trek Attack Wing, it's just not any good. And that's sad. Alright. Our Admiral is Hayden. He's a skill 2 or +1 Admiral. Costs you 1 point, unique, no talent. Action, fleet action. Target a ship at range 1 to 2 that does not have your ship in its forward firing arc. If you attack that ship this round, gain +1 attack die and roll 1 less defense die. It's an action to give you an extra attack die. But wait, it's worse because you also roll 1 less defense die. I will say, with cheaper ships coming into the game, the role of support ship may become a viable role. And if that happens, then things like this are viable to spend an action on. But it's still hurting your ship to roll 1 less defense die. At least that only happens once, it's not in each time. But it's still not great. And that's unfortunate. Our captain, the aforementioned Benjamin Maxwell, skill 6 with a talent, 4 points. When attacking a ship with one of your secondary weapons during the modify attack dice step, you may re-roll 1 of your attack dice. I think secondary weapons are going to get a lot more play here with the new rules, especially with things like shield adaptation, the modifiers, everything that's going to reduce dice. And if the feds get some cheap secondary weapons, I think Benjamin Maxwell might be a playable captain. I don't think he'll be the top tier, but I think he'll be usable. I'm going to keep him in the we'll see category for now. Alright, we got a fair amount of upgrades here, so this will be fun. The first is Aft Torpedo Launcher. This is a 3-point, non-unique card. You may fill a crew, tech, or weapon slot with this upgrade. When attacking with a Photon Torpedoes upgrade, you may disable this card to target a ship that is not in your forward firing arc. This upgrade may only be purchased for a ship with a hull of 4 or greater that does not have a rear firing arc, and it costs +5 if purchased for any non-fed ship. So it's essentially 360 torpedoes, and that's really cool. 3 points is not a hideous price to pay for getting 360 fire. Again, if we see some cheaper secondary weapons, this will be playable. 360 fire, especially at range 3, is a lot to handle for most ships. So, potential, again. Our next card is Arsenal. This is a 4-point weapon. You add 2 weapon upgrades to your upgrade bar when placing time tokens On one of your other weapon upgrades, you may place one of those tokens on this card. No ship can have more than one arsenal because they don't want you to stack weapon upgrades to, well, 3, because rule of 3 is in place now. Regardless, arsenal, playable. Certainly playable, because there are times where you need 2 more weapon slots. Well, 1 more weapon slot, because you're using a weapon slot to get 2 more weapon slots. But that's where Sakona comes into play and gets you all of that for 2 points. Plus she adds your 3rd weapon slot, and there's some versatility there. So, yeah, Arsenal, good card. Our tech, higher energy sensor sweep. Now, we saw this on the Sutherland, the prize Sutherland, not the starter Sutherland. Though we may see that, don't know as of recording. We'll see. 5-point, non-unique tech. After you move, you may disable 1 active shield to perform a free scan action. No ship can have more than 1. High energy sensor sweep. It's okay. Disabling shields, it's an okay price to pay. Free scan, it helps. It is your scan action, so you can't use that to get more scans, but that's life. That's what it is. I like Hess. It's fine. It's a nice card to have in the game. Helps with your action economy. It doesn't solve everything, but it gives you some options, and options are always nice. Alright, our first crew is Elizabeth Lentz. She is 1 point, unique. Nice to have a 1-point card. At any time, you may discard this card to remove 1 disabled upgrade token from one of your crew or tech upgrades, and then place 2 time tokens on that upgrade. Really handy to convert a disable into 2 time tokens. There are moments in the game where you will not have an action, you do not have an action, you can't get a spare action for a while, and waiting 2 rounds, or rather the round you're in and the next round, before you can use something else is a perfectly fine price to pay. That conversion, it's worth 1 point in a crew slot. So Elizabeth Lentz does her job. The other crew is Terry, 4-point, unique, action. Disable this card and 2 of your active shields to repair 1 damage to your ship's hull. Way overpriced, way too costly in terms of an action, disable, and disable 2 shields just to get 1 damage back. No. Not happening. Bad. Ignore. Put Terry in a box. Do not open. Ever. And the last card in this pack is Prefix Code, 5-point unique talent. Action. Discard this card to target a ship at range 1 to 2 of your ship. Disable up to 2 shields on the target ship. Place an Aux Power token beside your ship. This is really cool on the ISS Avenger, because then you have your built-in Aux Power to trigger the named ability of the Avenger, and you're good to go. It's still not a great card, because 5 points to disable 2 shields and give you an Aux, it's significantly worse than projected stasis field balance in there. Overall, this pack is okay. Arsenal, Aft Torpedo Launcher, those are cool cards. Benjamin, Maxwell, Hayden, again, cool cards. But nothing here absolutely stands out. The Phoenix, you can do without her. The rest of these upgrades, sure, they fill niches, but none of them are like absolute gotta have cards. And with the rule of 3 coming into play, Arsenal's significantly less useful than it once was. The whole beauty behind Arsenal was the 2 extra weapon slots, but you wanted that in conjunction with Sakona and with other things that gave you weapon slots, because you wanted to get a whole bunch of weapon slots. Maybe you also put Ibex Dynasty on there, so you were looking at 5 extra weapon slots. You can't do that anymore. So, yeah. Ultimately, I'm of 2 minds. If you have the Sutherland, the prize, you don't really need this pack. You can get it. There's things here, certainly. If you like messing around with secondary weapons, then by all means. and I may reverse course on this, and aft torpedo launcher may be the best thing that's ever hit the game in a matter of a month. The other path I take is, if you don't have the Sutherland, then you kind of want this because it gives you a Nebula class. And Nebula class are cool. But I have my own personal bias there about Nebula class, and maybe that's clouding my judgment. Still, at the end of the day, if you force me to give you an answer, I would tell you that this is one you can probably avoid, and you're not missing anything that you'd need to play competitively. But it's also a fun ship, and maybe there's something to that too. Alright, that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard. Take care.